Welcome back, it's Pixel Pix here. Are you sick of hearing about the same horror games over and over? While classics like Granny and Five Nights at Freddy dominate the conversation, plenty of terrifying games go unnoticed. Today I have handpicked top 10 best underrated horror games for Android and iOS, the ones that deserve way more attention. Some of these will be completely new to you, and trust me, they will haunt you long after you play them. Without any further delay, let's get started.
If you see him, you better hide. They say he hears everything. I wouldn't run.
Now, if you are into creepy vibes and a good horror story, this one is for you. It's a mix of survival, horror, and a puzzle solving that will keep you on edge. You step into the shoes of Henry, a former animator who returns to his old studio only to find that it's not exactly welcoming anymore. One of the coolest part of the game is the art style. It has this vintage cartoonish vibe that's both charming and eerie at the same time. You will be solving puzzles, dodging creepy ink creatures, and uncovering secrets hidden in the shadows. It's not just about running from monsters, you are also piecing together a dark narrative that unfolds as you explore. So, Backroom Descent is a psychological horror game that really nails the creepy vibe. I am sure you are familiar with the concept of getting lost in the back rooms, and you have probably seen some of the found footage about it. Well, this game takes that concept and runs with it. You are thrown into a seamlessly endless maze of eerie familiar rooms, and let me tell you, the atmosphere is absolutely chilling. The game blends survival horror with puzzle elements, keeping you on edge. You are not just mindlessly wandering around, you have to solve puzzles to escape while avoiding some creepy entities lurking in the shadows. One of the standout features is the sound design. The ambient noises really pulls you in, making you feel like you are actually trapped in the unsettling space. Feedvid Life is a psychological horror puzzle game set within a mysterious live streaming app. It pulls you into an eerie atmosphere, building psychological tension that keeps you on edge. As a viewer, you watch a live stream of someone trapped in an unknown location, guiding them through the chat to help them escape. With its VHS style visuals and unsettling scenes, this game is not for faint of heart. Play at your own risk. So it's a first-person survival horror game that keeps you on the edge of your seat. The story follows our main character, James, who is on the desperate quest to solve his wife from a terrifying nightmare world. You navigate through eerie environments while solving puzzles and avoiding all sorts of creepy creatures lurking in the shadows. Now let's talk about game features. Endless Nightmare has some pretty cool stuff going on. There are multiple endings based on your choices, which adds replay value, so you can go back and try to piece together different outcomes. Plus, the graphics are surprisingly good for a mobile game. They really nail the spooky vibe.
Malayo pa naman sila. Kaya Nico, ibenta mo muna yung huling balot para meron tayong ekstrang pera pang lipat ng bahay.
Hapunan is a psychological horror game with a strong story and a suspenseful vibe, all wrapped in a Filipino culture. You play as Nico, a hard-working balut vendor just trying to get a business permit. Sounds simple, right? But the things take a serious dark turn when you start uncovering creepy secrets about the local captain. The eerie atmosphere and tension keeps building, and PS1 style graphics make everything feel more unsettling. The low poly visuals give it that nostalgic yet eerie vibes, making the horror hit even harder. If you are into story driven horror with a unique cultural twist, this one's totally worth checking out. VHS Paradise is a short indie horror game where you play as a cashier working the night shift at a retro VHS video store. Your job is simple: serve the customers, keep an eye out for any potential thieves, and deal with some pretty strange people. But as the night goes on, things get weirder, and you will have to make choices that affect how the story plays out. There are multiple endings based on your decisions and how you interact with the customers, so every playthrough feels a bit different. Kamla is a first-person survival horror game set in 1980s India. The game puts you in the shoes of a tantric, basically a priest skilled in exorcism, who is summoned to help a newlywed woman named Kamla. She is possessed by a demonic entity and she is not going down without a fight. The game takes place in a mysterious old mansion where you must explore and solve puzzles. It shares similarities with Granny but with a unique twist. Instead of trying to escape, your goal is to perform an exorcism. You must collect ritual items needed for the ritual while surviving the horrors that lurk within. Detention is a 2D psychological game with point-and-click mechanics. Set in 1960s Taiwan during the White Terror, it follows two students, Ray and Wei, who find themselves trapped in their high school. Except it's not just any school anymore. It's twisted, haunted, and full of dark secrets. As you explore, you start uncovering disturbing truths, not just about the school but about the characters and the oppressive world they live in. The game features a side-scrolling perspective, a creepy atmosphere, a puzzle-solving mechanics, blending Taiwanese folklore with the real historical events. Paranormal Side: The Seven Mysteries of Honjo is a spooky, story-driven visual novel game set in 1950s Tokyo. You are thrown into a creepy mystery where strange deaths are happening, and it all seems to be connected to some eerie legends from the area. You play as different characters, each with their own take on the strange happenings, trying to figure out what's going on. The game mixes creepy exploration, solving puzzles, and making choices that can lead to different endings. It's all about uncovering the dark secrets tied to the area's past, with a lot of tension and supernatural chills along the way. But what really sets Paranormal Sight apart from other visual novels is its stunning 360 visuals. Seriously, it feels like you are stepping right into its eerie world. You can interact with every nook and cranny of the environment, and the immersive aspect just amps up the tension. Before we move to the first pick, I have some honorable mentions. First game is Horror Zone 254. Horror Zone 254 is a first-person survival horror game that invites players to become real stalkers and confront a terrifying monster. As an experiment stalker, you are sent on a mission to collect information about an unknown creature. You have to explore the terrifying surroundings, find the necessary items for your survival, plan an escape, or even try to kill the scary monster. Second game is Psychosis. It is a 2D psychological horror game. In Psychosis, you will accompany William to live between hallucinations and reality experiencing moments of confusion and psychological pressure with high levels of suspense.
Alexander, is it inside the castle?
And finally on the top we got Sclerosis The Dark Descent. It's a fan-made survival horror game that's a pretty much a love letter to the original Amnesia. It's not an official remake, but it stays incredibly faithful to the original with only a few changes. In Sclerosis The Dark Descent, you play as Daniel, who wakes up in a creepy castle with no memory of his past. As you explore, you will start uncovering his messed up memories. If you enjoyed original Amnesia game, you will definitely want to check out this Android remake. So there you have it, 10 hidden horror gems waiting for you to discover. Which one will you play first? Let me know in the comments if you have played any of these games before, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.